Hi. What I'm about to read to you sounds really. It's either really poorly translated from the Quran or Muhammad was nuts. Take your pick. What I'm about to read to you sounds like the sun and moon are the parents of us, and that they are seafaring, and if Allah wanted, He could drown them. I'll read you. This is this is a surah. That's the Quran, 36, verse 38. The Yusuf Ali version says this: "And the sun runs his course for a period determined for him. That is the decree of Him." That's Allah, the exalted in might, the all-knowing. Pickle says, version of the Quran says, "And the sun runneth on into a resting place." Resting place, yeah. That is it runs on to a resting place for him. That is the measure of the mighty, the wise. And the sun runs on to a term appointed for him. That is okay. 36:39 says, "And the moon we have measured for her mansions." So the moon here is seen as female, and the sun is seen as male. So apparently the moon gave birth to us. Because I'll read on further here. And we know, Pickle, "And the moon we have appointed mansions till she return like an old shriveled palm leaf." Shakir, "And as for the moon, we have ordained for its stages." Stages. Now that sounds more online to something that's not so crazy sounding, you know. Yeah, because Yusuf Ali, 36:39 says, "And the moon we have measured for her mansions to traverse," and, to walk around and stuff, till she returns like an old withered, 36:40, Yusuf Ali, "It is not permitted to the sun to catch up to the moon." Makes it sound like they're orbiting around the earth. "Nor can the night outstrip the day." How can it? "Each just swims." Get that? Swims along in its own orbit, according to law. By what law? Certainly, it doesn't sound like the astronomical laws we know today. Pickle says, "It is not for the sun to overtake the moon." Well, I want to tell you something. The moon is overtaken by the sun in the daytime. That's why we have, that's why you can see an eclipse, a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse takes place when the sun catches up to the moon, as far as it looks. Of course, we all know that the sun doesn't move at all. It's just the way the rotation of the sun is, rotation of the earth is. Okay. Yeah. This is Pickle version. "It is not for the sun to overtake the moon." Right. "Nor doth the night outstrip the day. They float." They float, each in an orbit. Sun doesn't orbit people. Okay, Shakir, "Neither is it allowable. Yeah, neither is it allowable to the sun that it should overtake the moon." Yeah. In the day, it does overtake the moon, because that's how we see eclipses. Or is he trying to say, well, it's because the sun is stationary, like we know it is? But I'll read on here. Okay. Okay, this is 36:41. "And a sign for them," I believe that's talking about the moon and sun, "is that we bore," that means Allah, we, he likes to say we, "bore their race through the flood in the loaded ark." So, the descendants of Noah. So Noah, in other words, those who produced Noah, are the... I'll read this again here. Yusuf Ali, 36, verse 41. "And a sign for them is that we bore their race through the flood in the loaded ark. It sounds like, when you read that, it sounds like, to me, could be wrong here, but it sounds like we are the offspring of the moon, the female moon, and the male sun. Pictal. And a token unto them is that we bear their offspring in the laden ship. There again, that's okay. Now Shakir says, and a sign to them, that's, I think this is talking to the moon and sun, is that we, Allah, bear their offspring in the laden ship. It really sounds like we are the descendants of the sun and moon here, the way it's written here. 36:41 says, Yusuf Ali, and we have created for them the moon and sun. And if it's not the moon and sun, if you're Muslims, you're watching this, if it's not the moon and sun, tell us what it is here. And we have created for them similar vessels on which they ride. Sounds like the sun and moon ride in boats. Pictal. And have created for them, again, sun and moon, sounds like, of the like thereof wherein they ride. Sun and moon ride in boats, arks. And we have created for them the like of it, what they will ride on. Sun and moon ride in boats? Really? If this is true, if this is what Muhammad meant, that the sun and moon ride in boats, that's one big, huge ouch for Islam, if you ask me. 36:41, Yusuf Ali. If it were our, that's Allah, he likes to say our, I guess he's Legion or something. Well, if it were our will, Allah is, yeah. If it were our will, we could drown them. Drown the sun and moon. But drown them where, if this is true? How can you drown the sun and the moon? Surely not drown the earth. Not drown them in the earth, right? I mean, in the ocean of the earth. I mean, how big is the moon and sun to Muhammad anyway? Then would there be no helper to hear their cry, nor could they be delivered. Well, the sun and the moon are awfully big, huge, and one of them is a well-fusion star, so I don't know how you could rescue them. Pictal says, and if we will, we drown them, and there is no help for them, neither can they be saved. Shakir says, and if we please, we can drown them, then shall there be no succor for them, nor shall they be rescued. Anyway, it really sounds like to me that Muhammad believed that the sun and moon traveled in an ocean of water in a canopy that surrounded the earth in a big sphere. Okay, if you don't believe me, here's one. The sun rides in a chariot carried by 360 angels. Go to Tabari 1:244. It seems to support the idea that the sun and moon are humans that produced us, but they ride in chariots. It's very bizarre. Anyway, if I translated this thing wrong, I mean, if I interpret this wrong, set me straight. If you're watching this, you're Muslim, watch this, set me straight, okay?